I'm Alfred Alvarez. Been collecting cans since 1974, 75, and really excited to share some of the stories that my collection here has brought me and my family, and hopefully to share it with the world here. So
Awesome.
started out in Cub Scouts. Actually found a beer can, not a beer can. It was actually a Dr. Pepper can, a 7-ounce cone top that we'll get to later. The can was incredibly rusty. I thought I found a gazillion-dollar can, obviously, because every kid thought he did. And at that time, some of the neighborhood kids were starting to collect beer cans, and so I got into it. This was during the mid-'70s beer can craze where everybody started collecting. So all of the Gen Xers and Boomers, right? Most of us that will watch this video will be able to share some side or relate to that story in some kind of way. So. Yeah, what I collect is beer cans, Brewiana. Some of the breweries I collect: Pabst, Mayer, Rheingold, Ballantine, and then anything that really catches my eye is some of the things that I collect. Interestingly enough, the collection sat in the attic, as many did. Most of the cans were 70s cans. Until we moved here, the other house was not conducive to a beer can collection anywhere. This one's a little bit nicer, a little bit bigger. And the wife gave me permission to pull up my beer cans. So I did. And we'll get to more of that later. Right, so there is in the Beer Can Collector's Bible by Jack Martells. This is a book that I've had since I was a little kid. The very first page of that book is the exotics, as he labeled them. I have basically collected the exotics with a couple of exceptions. The two 12-ounce Soul cans are very, very difficult to find. I do have the 16-ounce versions of those, and actually we'll have a shot of those later on in the video. Of that whole collection, a couple of them are paper labels as placeholders, but I'm actually picked up, believe it or not, from Bill Lindstrom, the Bavarian that we were talking about from Antarctica. So he said, "Is this the one you're looking for?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, "How much you want for it?" He says, "Your money's no good here." And he just sent me the can. And the can it's a Rusty Bunch can, right? So it's not minty or anything. So I know that you went to Antarctica and did some things down there. Interestingly enough, in that same book, just rereading it, there's actually a third Antarctica can that's a Bavarian that I'm not aware of, nor have I ever seen a picture of it. But there's apparently a third version of that can. So that might be the next one we're going to go hunting for. So I'm trying to collect literally every Mayer can that's ever existed. There's some of them that are impossible to get, but there's I probably got about 30 or 40 Mayer cans spread across the collection. That's a brewery I'm always looking after. The thing that's really interesting about Mayer, so Gunther's people and Mayer, they all tried to sell beer. I'm a sales guy by trade. And the marketing aspect of selling beer has always fascinated me, right? So breweries back in the 60s, there was beer that folks wouldn't drink with certain ethnicities. They're like, "I'm not touching that stuff," right? And then other people would go, "Oh, we're not touching that stuff," right? So the brewers try to figure out, okay, how do we get people to drink our beer? And Soul beer would be one of those beers. It was a giant flop in the LA Watts area right there. And they marketed that beer for like a year and a half, and then it failed. People's Beer is actually a black-owned brewery, the first one in the United States. Started in, I want to say, the 50s, if memory serves me correctly. And then any beer that has that relationship with, hey, we're trying to market to a certain group, right? And that mindset behind that and how they marketed that back then, it's truly amazing. I mean, if you think about OI cans, opening instruction cans, these were beer cans that had to show people how to use a can opener on. Were we really that stupid 85 years ago? I mean, it's hard to believe that had to show them how to pop a can, but it happened, and those cans obviously were very short-lived because they figured out, people know how to do this. We don't have to tell them, right? So we're just wasting ink, and I don't know what the mindset was when they put that on there. Just like, hey, well, they're used to opening a bottle. Maybe that's the mindset, right? So it's really, really fascinating to think about that kind of stuff. So other cans, Ballantines, I've got actually up here's a good bit of my Ballantine collection. Some olive drab ones up there as well. And then any can that really fascinates me. I don't know. Some cans I just love. Any sales guy samples. I've got a lot of the beers and bimetals and cans, like really behind me you can see some of them. These are all just sales guy samples. Hey, this is what our beer can looks like. This is what we can make it look like. Hey, it's got the new seam on it. It's got this. It's got that. All that stuff just really fascinates me. I've never worked in the brewery industry, but it's fascinating to think about what those guys can do. So other cans. So thinking back to my childhood, the old Frosting Slosh collection, I've got literally every can in that collection upstairs, as most people do. Those aren't hard to acquire. And then Iron City beer was a big thing. I was a big Cowboys fan back then, so we would take the Iron City cans when they had the Steelers on them, and we'd actually go outside and shoot them with BB guns because we didn't like the Steelers back in the day. So actually, there's some right here, some Iron City cans. They move around quite a bit. And then cans from Cuba is also something that fascinates me, but very, very, very difficult to find. So my heritage, both parents are Cuban. I've got a couple of Cuban beer cans, but nothing old. They're very, very hard to find old beer cans out of Cuba. It's next to impossible. So yeah, so there's a Schaefer that I bought on eBay for a reasonable amount of money. It came from Italy, and the can, when you look at it, you can see it was open with a bayonet. And it was shot twice with the 30 cal, which is the round of the day back in World War II. So this can has seen, legitimate service action. If not, it's the best fake I've ever seen in my life. But it's a really wonderful can, and that's actually part of the 21 can set of the Beer Can Collector's Bible. So yeah, I am very active in collecting cans, typically auctions and eBay. Every weekend I'm on the auction sites looking for stuff. Just had a show here in Dallas. Actually, it was in Fort Worth. We had some good trades going on, and there was it's where I met Bill Lindstrom. He's an active Rusty Buncher digger. He actually found some 007 cans by digging here just last year. So yes, and the Sierra Nevadas is where they dug those. The 007 cans, which I do have 6 of the 7. And actually currently bidding and or trying to get one. There's 2 sources where those are available right now. One's on an auction site, and the other one is a friend of a friend that's got one. He's got 2 of them, and he's not sure what he's going to do with his extra. He may give it to his friend that actually dug with him like 30 years ago when they found the first batch of them. So this is another 007 can. This is a rolled can. They made printer labels with the different colors to print the cans, and this is the grayscale one. Picked this up at auction several years ago, but it's a really nice can. Like I said, rolled right top, right bottom, and I'm sure it was rolled probably by art. You can see it's a seamed can, but really cool looking can. I call it a ghost can because it looks like that way to me. Looks kind of ghosty. So yeah, so the big collection down here is mainly flat top cans. There is some aluminum and some BCCA cans, so I'm trying to get the whole BCCA ensemble from the first convention all the way to the last one, or to the one coming up in Little Rock. And then do have some olive drab cans. Those are near and dear to my heart. Those are really hard to find in good condition. And also pretty decent Ballantine collection. Not great, but it's getting better. Ballantine cans, as you know, that copper metallic paint is a doozy to keep rust free and humidity free spotting. Then some really nice Texas cans as well. A Blue Bonnet and a Time are both Dallas cans those are pretty cool cans that I've got. So the organizations that I'm a member of are BCCA, Rusty Bunch, and NABA. So all 3 of the Breweriana associations I'm a member of. I'm also a member of the Blue Bonnet chapter, which is our local chapter here in the Dallas area. So member in all of those. Plan on going to convention this year, and the NABA convention as well. So looking forward to those things. Typically prices are a little easier to accommodate on the tougher cans when you go to those places in live person. So yeah. So my cans are organized in alphabetical order for the most part. There's obviously, if you look around the shelves, you're like, hey, that doesn't go there because there was a really nasty looking can there, and then I bought up a better looking can. So there will be some things that shift around there. They're close to alphabetical order. So, and then some of them are just shelves over here are done kind of randomly. These are, I probably need to get rid of all these books and just put beer cans here. It's the only way I want to get more real estate in my collection is to get rid of the books and add beer cans. So that's probably something that needs to happen eventually. So this is the can that started it all for me. This is a 7-ounce Dr. Pepper can. And this is why people don't dig in Texas. You can barely tell what this thing is anymore. Although the can is actually solid, it was packed in mud. I found this thing when I was in Cub Scouts in Camp Wisdom, which is about 40 or 50 miles from here. It was covered in mud and rust, and I bathed it in oxalic acid for way longer than I probably should have. That's why it's so yellow now, because these are not even the colors of this can, but this is the can that literally started it all. So one of my nicer Ballantine cans. Here's a Ballantine from probably mid 50s, I'm guessing. So this can has New York's World's Fair on it, and the copper on this one is really, really pristine. So this one is really, really nice can, and there's quite a few Ballantines we're going to be taking pictures of here in a bit, and it is even bottom opened. Not that anybody back then collected bottom open cans, because folks didn't really collect them. Some of the Texas beers. This is a Time beer. This is from Time Brewing here in Dallas, Texas. This can has got a lot of humidity spotting. It's actually in really good shape. The can is not really that rusty. It's just the humidity spotting has really taken over this can. It's a pretty tough can to find. Probably the, quote, holy grail of Dallas cans is the Bluebonnet beer. This one also is covered in humidity spotting. Very, very difficult can to find in good condition. If you do find it in good condition, you can buy a nice used car for what these cans are bringing. So it's this one's in decent shape, and I don't have a ton of money in it. So one of my favorite designs is the Santa Fe. This is a really nice can. It did have a little dent there, a little dent repair work on it. But this is a Mayer can, and this is the thing I keep saying about Mayer is they're always trying to figure out ways to get into different ethnicities and different markets with people. So, because Santa Fe's like, hey, that's going to have a Hispanic heritage to it. So, maybe Hispanic guys will want to drink this can, or drink this beer. So, that's those 6. What else can we find? So, I mean, it's to me, it's really about the 21 gun salute up there. So. I don't know how we get those. I'm not going to get them all down here, obviously.
No, we'll just get them.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about what's up there.
Yeah, so there's the little book that I've had since I was a little kid. Here is binder and all. Funny enough that here is some collector's notes. This is 1982. We're meeting at Curtis's house. 1982, 2482 convention. 10 o'clock, Curtis's house. The very first page in this book is what's known as the exotics. In the exotics, the 007 cans or the 7-can set, not the white stripes, just the regular cans. I'm not even that big of a James Bond fan, to be honest with you guys, but the cans have just been always something that I've really wanted to aspire to. The Tiger can is another one. Mine's in really good shape. That Tiger can was when LSU won their first championship, and then you get to the Bavarian cans that were brewed in New Zealand but used for a U.S. operation in Antarctica. I've had one for a long time now, and I just received a second one from Bill Lindstrom as a gift. I've got a Playboy or a Playmate beer. That's another interesting can. If you think about what happened there, is they didn't have copyrights to use Playmate, and Playboy sued them immediately as soon as the cans got out, so they didn't last very long. My Playmate malt liquor is a placeholder currently. Then the Two Souls, mine are 16 ounce, the Mellow Yellow and the Stout malt liquor. Looking for the 12 ounces, so if you know anybody, I'm happy to take them. Do have a Milwaukee Valley. Finally, that one took a long time to find. Brian actually helped me out with that out of Milwaukee. Actually, he's in up that way. I do have a Park paper label. I'm currently bidding on one as well. It may get out of the price range rather quickly. And then the Schaefer, we talked about that. Then the Rheingold Girls. This is another thing that's fascinating to me, that companies were brewing beer for women. Some of the beer cans that we have upstairs, the wife's got all those, the non-fattening and dietetically non-fattening and all these beers that were basically just lying to their customers. But it's amazing that they were able to do that back in the day. So pretty exciting. So
cool.
My Holy Grail can currently, well, there's a couple of them, but the pair of Souls from Mayer that were made in '67, the 12 ounce malt liquor and the 12 ounce Mellow Yellow, I believe is what it's called. Those those are two that would round out my my 21 can set that I've been striving for since I was a little kid. So.
And then you could stop collecting altogether, right?
No, that's not how this works, unfortunately. So I'm not sure what the exit plan is. The wife keeps asking what the exit plan is. I said, I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. So.